Hey everyone, welcome back to Hello Luxury, the channel where we usually take a look at authentic luxury clothing and streetwear. And I mean, that is still the case today. We are going to be taking a look at authentic clothing, but the subject matter is actually pretty different. I actually think this one's going to be really interesting. Well, I mean, I'm not the one who can say whether it's interesting or not. That's up to you. If you think it's interesting, you tell me, okay? Anyway, I have got a pair of pants and a shirt from a designer slash brand called Johnny Coda. And if you're not familiar with him, Jesus, those bags are crinkly. All right, stop crinkling, guys. Whew, okay. So if you're not familiar with Johnny Coda, I don't really blame you. So he was the winner of the Amazon fashion show Making the Cut. Or was it Next in Fat? No, that was the Netflix one with the queer eye guy. Making the Cut is the one on Amazon. So Heidi Klum and Tim Gunn left Project Runway and they started this new Amazon fashion competition show for Amazon Prime, and Johnny Coda was the winner. Whew, that was a lot of plot, a lot of backstory. But anyway, so the winner gets to sell all their stuff on Amazon. Great deal, right? Like, I don't know how much money you can really make on Amazon. It's like internet Walmart, right? It's not really fashionable. You don't really think of buying fashion on Amazon, but I guess that's what they're trying to change, right? So, long story short, Johnny Coda, he had a brand called Skin Graft, and he actually still does. Skin Graft still exists, but I don't know, Heidi Klum's like a normie or something. She really didn't like the Skin Graft name, and throughout the whole season of the show, she was pushing him to change the name. So it looks like what he did when he won the show, he created a new line on top of Skin Graft called Johnny Coda Studio, I think it's called. So Skin Graft, it looks like still exists, and that does his like high-end stuff that costs hundreds of dollars. But then Johnny Coda makes the cheaper stuff that gets sold on Amazon. And let me be real with you guys here, it's not the most original clothing. Like, I think it looks really good. I think he's got a great style. It's very modern, very hip, kind of like LA fashion, but it's also very kind of Rick Owens, stuff like that. You'll definitely see in the silhouettes what I'm talking about. But here's the thing, I feel like if you can get high quality, good looking, fashionable clothing for like 50 bucks on Amazon instead of hundreds of dollars from Rick Owens or whoever else, I think that's a great thing. So I picked up these pieces and I want to check them out, see, you know, how they are, what the fit is like, what the fabrication is like, see if the construction's actually any good. And I just want to dive deep on these pieces and see if a Amazon reality show winner can actually make good clothing. So let's check them out. But first, I've looked into it, and a very, very small percentage of you are actually subscribed to the channel. It's completely free. Just press that button and you will not regret it. Thank you so much. So here are our pieces, and here's my cat. Anyway, that's besides the point. So we've got our shirt right here, and we've got our pair of pants right here, and we'll definitely check those out. But first of all, you know, the experience, it starts with the bag, right? And you heard in the audio in that intro, these are like my least favorite kinds of bags. They're just like a fucking house party, like EDM levels of noise that comes off of these things as soon as you touch them. But I'm going to try not to hold that against him. So these pieces, they actually came from a sample sale of his. So I got these, they were like 30 bucks a piece or something like that. I feel like they're normally, I don't know, $50 to $100. I have no idea what the quality is like. I have no idea where they were made. I don't even really know what they're made out of. So let's get in here and check these pieces out. Okay, so right off the, it feels really, I really like the feel of this fabric for the shirt. Good start. Okay, and the pants, interesting. It feels a bit more artificial. You can see some kind of a bit of a sheen to it, but still very soft. Both of these pieces extremely soft. So, hey, I'm good with that. Good start so far. So we get a little postcard that comes with it with the Johnny Coda name. Nice styling, kind of very Dries Van Noten patterning, I would say. On the back, Metamorphosis. And I believe he actually talked about this on the show itself. That was the name of the collection. So I guess he just turned that into the collection he made for Amazon as well. Metamorphosis, and then just the definition. Okay, fair enough. So that is the kind of theme of the collection, I suppose. So let's see how much it carries over. So taking a look at the shirt, here's our tag. I just want to see if we can get any info from this whatsoever. We've got the website there on the back. It doesn't open up or anything. All right, nothing, telling us nothing there so far. Let's just open these pieces up and see how they look laid out. All right, so now maybe you can see what I'm saying with the Rick Owens stuff a little more from the colored palette, like the bone color of this to the black here. The fact that's definitely a drop crotch if I've ever seen one, like a jogger style, kind of long line in the t-shirt with these things hanging off of them and kind of ties and weird stuff like that. Very, very kind of gothic, punk, Rick Owens style, I would say. But hey, cheap Rick Owens, I'll wear it. Let's see if we can get any more info from the tags. So again, just Johnny Coda Studio here, and nothing on the back. All right, time to go do the care tags, I suppose. Okay, a tiny tag here with a very little information. Johnny Coda Studio, the Coda Group. So we get a fabrication here, bamboo and organic cotton. That's actually awesome. Really, really impressed with those fabrications. And I can feel it. Bamboo is one of my favorite materials. It's crazy soft, and both of those more sustainable materials as well. Made in Indonesia, that kind of gives me pause because it definitely makes me wonder what the labor practices are where piece is being made because, obviously, if you're going to be able to sell shirts for $50 that are, well designed out of nice materials, you're going to have to make some cuts somewhere, and I'm guessing labor is where those cuts are being made, and that does sketch me out a bit. The pants, on the other hand, are 100% rayon, so that, as far as I'm aware, is a less sustainable material, also made in Indonesia. So we're starting to get maybe an idea. We definitely know the fabrications now. We can take some guesses as to how they're made and what kinds of conditions, and that's a bit sketchier definitely in my mind. But let's start taking a look at some of the details of the construction and see where we land there. So as soon as I started kind of unfolding this to take a look, I found just a loose thread here, and that's somewhat worrying. You start to wonder, where did that come from? Did a stitch get undone and now it's all going to fall apart? So I don't know for sure. Definitely just a little bit sketchy though. That's not something you usually find in high quality pieces for sure. So a big thing I'm noticing here, these stitches are very visible. Usually in high quality stuff, they try to hide their stitching as much as possible. These are very visible, and they're also fairly loose. Like you can see each one has a little bit of a loop and a little bit of give to it. And each thread is at a slight angle. Like it's not going straight down in these lines. It's kind of going at a slight diagonal each time, which is an indication that maybe they were sewing it quite quickly, which is sort of to be expected in potential, Indonesian sweatshop conditions. Ugh. However, I will say that the lines of the stitching going down, they're straight lines. The stitches themselves are not wonky, going off in weird directions, so that at least is a positive. And if we take a look at the inside of the shirt, these kind of circle stitches, they're a bit loose. On higher quality pieces, you'd expect these to be tighter. There's a bit of messiness where the seams meet. You've got some kind of thread hanging out there. So all this, again, is indicative to me of kind of a rush job, I would say. And when we get to things like the seam at the back of the neck here, at the very least, it is some reinforcement, but the stitches themselves, they're fairly far spaced apart. The stitches are pretty big. So the problem with that is that over time, as you wear it and it starts to wear down, it's just more opportunity for the piece to start falling apart, essentially. So again, it's not like I'm not seeing horrible construction here, but definitely not high quality luxury construction either. And over on the pants, the situation is almost identical, I would say. You get these stitches that are quite a bit more visible than you would expect, and they're quite a bit more spaced out than what you'd expect from a high quality piece that was made, Portugal, Italy, France, somewhere like that. Even like something like this line right here, this reinforced line, like at least it exists to keep this piece in place, but the line of that isn't perfectly straight. Like this isn't a perfect rectangle here. It's a little bit wonky. But on the other hand, when you start looking at particular details, such as these grommets here, or these snaps at the pockets, you can see he is using metal hardware. I actually like that stitching detailing, keeping them in. So it really looks like, you know, he's making low cost fashion for Amazon, and it looks like he's having to kind of pick his battles essentially, and he's choosing to put the money into materials and detailing rather than construction, I suppose. And that also carries into situations like at the end of the sleeve on the shirt, he's got these sort of thumb holes that have had to be stitched around. He's got these entire little loops, sort of enclosures for these crazy drawstrings that come out of them. It's a lot of intricacy for a very low budget shirt, so you really have to pick your battles. And I guess in the end, he's kind of picked the right battles, at least if you're looking at it from a selfish position as the consumer, because what I really care about probably the most is how comfortable is it to wear and how does it look. And what I'm losing from that, I'm definitely losing the kind of potential well-being of the person who made it, which is definitely a rough feeling and not something I want to be doing all the time. And I'm also potentially giving up the longevity and lifespan of the shirt because it could potentially fall apart much sooner than it would otherwise if it were a higher quality piece. So now let's try this outfit on to see how it feels and how it actually fits on the body. I'm kind of excited to see how this turns out. So let's start by talking about the feel of these pieces. Obviously, I would say that's where he put most of his money, especially on the shirt. That organic cotton and bamboo mix is stupid soft. Like, it has no right to be this soft, so that's sick. The pants, again, that artificial rayon, not as much of a fan of those personally, but they are comfortable, they are breathable, they're light and airy, so fabrication, I have no complaints there. The fits are actually interesting. The shirt fits perfectly, in my opinion. The pants, they actually are quite short, to the point where it makes me wonder if they're supposed to be a kind of like, 3/4 length almost, because they come almost up to my calf. They really don't fall at my ankle, so that's a question there for sure. As for the design, I think the shirt actually really does stand on its own merits from a design perspective. I think it looks really cool, and I'm really happy with it. The pants, definitely, Rick Owens vibes, maybe even Yohji Yamamoto, so it is fashion-y in that sense, but at the same time, I feel like the pants are closer to something, it wouldn't be super out of place in like a Hot Topic or something, so a bit less successful from that point of view, but when you put them together, it's a look, and it looks like a fashion look, so it's kind of surprising for cheap Amazon clothing. So should you buy this stuff? I don't know. I took a shot on it, I took a chance, made a video on it, seen how it went. I probably wouldn't buy any more, but I'm not going to be returning it either. I think I'll wear this stuff. It's pretty cool, and it's comfy too. So that is my take on what you get with Amazon Prime reality show fashion. It's a weird world, a whole new world that I never would have seen coming, but I actually had a lot of fun diving in and looking into it with you. So with that, take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.